TG Geeks, episode 87, July 25th, 2016. It's horrible, I tell you, beyond all imagining. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the two gay geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery. Sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre, you name it, we talk about it. I am Keith Lane, and we're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely, hotter than Hades, Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Ben Raggington, coming to you from, oh, but I wish I were in Hall H all this past week. Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes. Well, we have an interview with you for you today, and well, let's just get right to it. This week we have a real treat for you. We have Miguel Rodriguez, who is the director, janitor, little jack of all trades, custodian, jack of all trades of Horrible Imaginings Film Festival.
Elder God.
Yeah, Horrible Imaginings Film Festival in San Diego, and that is coming up in September, actually the 7th through the 12th. Welcome, Miguel.
Thanks. I like the Elder God title, especially the elder part. I'm really feeling that right now.
The elder, yeah.
Trust
me.
Are you feeling really aged by with all the work that you have to do in preparing for this?
I think I've earned a few more gray hairs.
Oh,
when did you start, just out of curiosity, how long have you been working on, really starting to putting a lot of effort into programming this year's?
This year? Well, programming the films... The submissions opened in January.
Yeah.
So programming really couldn't start until after then. And then there's always a small period of procrastination. But, oh man, there were tons of submissions. So thankfully I do have a great selection committee now. And they've helped me discuss the films and narrow it down. But that's been going on for a few months now, so it's been programming has been a big chunk of my time for since maybe late February or March.
Wow, yeah. That's incredible. Now, you had we had dinner with you here a couple of weeks ago, and as of this recording, you had said that you were getting ready to finish all of the slots and put everything in place. And have you completed that yet?
Yup. I know exactly what we're showing and when we're showing it.
Wow, that's incredible, because you were way behind you said you were way behind the 8-ball. I'm sure you had some things, preliminary stuff done, but that's incredible. And how many slots did you have altogether?
Oh, good God.
How many have you programmed this year?
Including short films?
Yeah.
For film, I believe we have 67
Wow.
titles.
That's amazing.
Man.
67 titles. Wow. And that's all the short films from the 30-second to the 14-minute or whatever. Plus
yeah. Our shortest short film is 1 minute.
Wow.
And our longest is 29.
Wow. That really pushes the boundary of short film, doesn't it?
It does, and for a short film to be accepted at that length, it truly has to be exceptional.
Right.
And this one fits the bill. It is incredible. From Australia. I'm just going to say the name here because I'm announcing the program tomorrow, so I might as well give you guys. This is a first.
Well, by the time this episode comes out, the program will
be old news. So
yeah.
Well, it'll be new news for you guys personally.
Right.
It's from Australia. It's a film called Little Boy Blue. And when you see the cinematography and the subject matter is quite intense, but not gratuitous. And it's both alarming and gorgeous. It makes a marriage of those two. It's a brilliant film, and I can't wait to show it. It's one of those exceptional and very rare odd running time short films.
What category does that movie fall under?
That will be under the the Human Killer and Psychological short film
Ooh,
block I have on Sunday morning.
The block we skipped last.
Yeah, the one we skipped last year.
Yeah, it'll be afternoon.
Yeah. So let's back up just a little bit. This is the 7th Horrible Imaginings. Is that correct?
That's correct. Our 7th annual festival.
7th annual festival, and that started as a relatively small film festival that grew out of something else, wasn't it? You told us last time.
Yeah. I started the podcast and when I moved here to San Diego, and the film festival was an offshoot of that at first, in order to bring something here to San Diego, since there wasn't a genre film festival here other than the little festival that happens in Comicon. San Diego Comicon has the SDCC Film Festival, but that's part of a giant behemoth, and it kind of gets drowned in everything else that's going on during Comic-Con. Right. So really there wasn't a horror film festival, and I wanted there to be one. So that was back 2010. Wow.
Now you had said something, I keep going back to, we had dinner with you, but we were in San Diego, and you had said something that you were at a conference or something, and somebody made the mention that horror is everything or something.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Tell us about that, and then help us understand your idea behind this film festival and what you're trying to do with the film festival.
Well, the conference you were talking about was AFM, which is the American Film Market. So essentially that's the place where independent films and potential distributors and producers have a big conference, and it's really just honestly a meat market for cinema. But last year they had a film festival portion, and so there were conferences and speakers and get-togethers and all meet and greets, all that kind of stuff. The speaker that you're talking about, it was the speaker who you were talking about was Mitch Davis. He works for Fantasia Film Festival, which is up in Montreal. It's a huge genre film festival. It spans weeks, and actually that's coming up. I'm leaving on the 16th of this month to go to Fantasia for a few days. So I'm excited about that. But, he had his presentation, and in it he did say, he singled out horror as one of the most flexible and all-encompassing genres. The words were, horror, guys, horror can be anything. It can be comedy, it can be romance, it can be musical, it can anything horror can contain. And I found that very vindicating, because sometimes getting that message across is like, kind of beating your head against a wall, because partially because of the mainstream of what we get from horror films, but a lot of people's, especially if they're not familiar with the genre, their perception of it is the same thing over and over again, with a scantily clad woman running through the woods with a killer chasing after her, and it's just that over and over
with a big knife and a mask.
Yeah, exactly. and
or a chainsaw.
If you look at a galaxy, that might be one star in the galaxy. It's just one little piece of the puzzle. Right.
And that's what our perception was until we talked to you last year, the first time.
Yeah, ultimately, what you have here with the genre, with people who really think about it and make the art that I want to share in it, is we have a pretty a pretty all-encompassing human emotion, the emotion of fear. And, that emotion can have offshoots like terror and dread and repulsion and all these different things. There's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot of reasons why people get scared. And it's really the expression of all those things that I'm looking for. And that can be done in so many different ways. It's kind of a way either to, like Stephen King says, sometimes you just want to gross someone out, but sometimes you want to get under their skin, or sometimes you want to make them startled, or sometimes you want to make them laugh at their own demons, or sometimes you want to exorcise or purge those demons. There's so many different things you can do. And that's been my mission from the very beginning. beginning is to show the diversity within this genre, and also the fact that, it can be it can help us, purge those demons. What's the word I'm looking for that everybody always uses, but it's too early in the morning? Cathartic. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
It can be a very cathartic genre and provide that catharsis for us in the dark room with a group of friends, which helps too.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's been my mission for a long time. And so to hear someone like Mitch Davis, who runs one of the most well-known and biggest genre film festivals in the world, to hear him say that front of other film festival people was really vindicating for me. That was a great moment.
So basically, horror films, especially when you're seeing it in theater, is nothing more than group therapy.
That's such an awesome way to put it. Yeah, I mean, for me, that's exactly what it is. It's group therapy. And it doesn't have to be horror, of course, but I think that is a purpose horror serves. Last night I had a little personal therapy, but it wasn't horror at all. But I did bring the film. As part of the Film Geeks, which is another film organization I work for here in San Diego, we're starting more repertory cinema for classics. And last night we kicked it off with the 1938 Errol Flynn, The Adventures of Robin Hood. And, I was all stressed out from doing all the film festival stuff. And for, that 2 hours in that theater with the glorious music and the Technicolor and the amazing cast and everything that's amazing about that film, I just forgot everything and had a huge grin on my face. So, it's something that cinema gives. I don't want to give the impression that horror is the only thing I love in cinema. My first love in cinema is classic film and the history of cinema and the rich storytelling capabilities that cinema has. In my opinion, cinema is just the ultimate peak of storytelling human capabilities, and I love all of it. But the reason I focused on horror for my film festival is because that genre is the most stigmatized, and it's the one that gets the most flack from people. It's the one that's the most hated by the mainstream, and it's the most, it's easiest for people to point the fingers at as a villain. It's the most scapegoated. And so those kinds of qualities make me root for it a little bit. I like to give more attention to things that are misunderstood.
Right. And you certainly helped us to understand what horror is. And I think I boiled it down, at least for my mind, is horror can be anything that is unexpected or comes at an unexpected moment. It can bring that feeling of fear, whether it's love or comedy or whatever, and something unusual happens. It's about that adrenaline rush, I guess, is really what I boiled it down to.
I would also say that with horror, I mean, there's something very visceral about it, and that it touches a very primal aspect to the human psyche, and that's why we respond so strongly to it, regardless of whatever type of horror you're looking at, be it slasher or be it comedy, whatever it is. It's touching something that's very, very, like, primal is the only word that I can think of in that respect.
Yeah, primal is always a great word to use with it. I like the unexpected thing. That's true. And the best of it is unexpected. And the best of it does challenge expectations, especially the expectations of people who are already fans of it. And sometimes it will irritate the fans if it challenges their expectations a little too much. But I like that. I like when it stirs the pot,
Right.
When The Witch came out, it's a great film, but a lot of the traditional horror fans thought it wasn't horror enough, but that's kind of silly. So yeah, it's not just the people who dislike horror or don't generally go toward horror who I want to speak to or who I want to have this conversation with. It's also people who like it too. It's the horror fans. Everybody could stand to discuss things a little more and think about things a little more, which is part of the fun. That's part of community aspect of any kind of art is the ability to have these conversations with other people and relate to other people in this way. How wherever, it doesn't always mean agreeing. Sometimes it means disagreeing, but that's also kind of the fun too.
Yeah. Well, you certainly challenged us last year. I mean, because as we said, and I've made no bones about it, I was not a horror fan at all. Period. If you even remotely said horror around it, or if you said horror around a film, I wasn't going to see the film. So, you challenged us, and we watched every film except for the psychological block that you had, and a couple of the Friday night pieces because we got there late. But we watched virtually every single other entry in your film festival last year, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. There were pieces that I thought, okay, well, I don't care for that. I don't have to see that ever again. But there were some that I just thought were brilliant, just beautiful, and scared the hell out of me, and, the whole range of emotions, and I really enjoyed a lot of it. So you've changed our minds.
Oh, clearly.
And we have become big supporters of the horror, quote unquote, genre.
Well, especially in the field of independent filmmakers.
Exactly.
Because I think you've hit on something. I think a lot of the misconception about horror does really come from mainstream cinema, which is really a shame, because I know that the mainstream cinema outside of the United States, especially when you start getting to countries like Europe and other areas on that side of the planet, their idea of mainstream cinema horror is a far, far cry from anything that we would consider acceptable. And I think that's one of the great things about what the film festival does, is that it allows us to kind of see maybe another country's interpretation of what mainstream horror really is and how beautiful it can be.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons we love having, international submissions and international entries, because it does give other perceptions and other perspectives, and show what some other cultures might be afraid of.
Right.
And you do hit on something with the independent and relating that to foreign film, because foreign film has a bit of a stigma of snobbishness about it for people who aren't cinephiles, doesn't it? It's like, oh, you're going to go see a foreign film. It's got this.
It has subtitles.
Yeah.
It has subtitles. I don't want to read. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something that
like his mother. His mother is like, I'm going to see that because it's a foreign film.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I'll watch it because it's an art film, because it's got subtitles, therefore it's an art movie.
We've threatened to put subtitles on some of the films that we want her to see that are films here, and she's, I don't want to see that.
Well, if we mute this, if we only go with the orchestral backdrop and give the subtitles on, it's an art film, Mom. Will you watch it? Anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
Wow, that's funny. Yeah, that's something I've noticed about the fans of the horror genre is they are the first to go to foreign film, the first to go to classic film, the first to go to silent film, because they want to see everything that the genre has to offer. And meanwhile, if I talk to other people who watch, I don't know, Ant-Man or something like that, it's not that they won't, but the ratio is different.
Right.
I have a friend, Ian, who won't watch anything before 1981.
Oh my God.
Oh, good heavens.
Oh my God.
It's completely nuts.
Wow.
But there's a wealth of films that came out before that time. I mean, it's
in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, even okay, that just made my head hurt.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's not uncommon either.
Wow,
I'm
who
shocked.
Watch black and white films. People
my
who
God.
Watch musicals. People
I
who
love black and white.
Yeah, it people who watch westerns. Like, it's insane to me. I mean, it's one of the reasons. I think the big contradiction within myself is that I really actually dislike the term genre, and I dislike the idea of genre. I really just want good storytelling.
Right.
And what happens, I think, with genre, first of all, is, in my opinion, genre is purely a marketing scheme and a way to split us into little demographic groups. But ultimately, it leads to people saying, oh, I don't watch Westerns. And that kind of drives me crazy because, you know...
Well, of course, there's the outlaw.
Yeah.
Well, but if you don't want to watch Westerns, you've just now sort of excluded, like, Back to the Future Part 3.
Well, yes, you're absolutely correct. Well, you've excluded a lot of things that have the Western thematic milieu around it. I mean, you're excluding Japanese cinema from, like, Kurosawa.
Oh, yeah, yes, Samurai 7.
Yeah, I mean, it forces people to identify themselves with a box. That for me is kind of limited. It limits the conversation. I want to see a film and appreciate it for its success in what it tries to do. And, if I want to see Cagney tap dancing, then that's great. Or if I want to see Cagney as a gangster, that's great as well. It doesn't matter what the genre is. I want to see how well the filmmakers and the creators and the art directors and the musicians and every artist, which is hundreds and hundreds of them, that goes into the making of a film, how well they came together, collaborated, and spoke to me.
You just want to see a good movie.
Exactly.
Yeah, I want to see a good movie. Exactly.
So you could be considered the out-of-the-box film festival. In essence.
I mean, and therein lies the contradiction, because in a way I am focusing on quote unquote genre, which is why, a lot of people do think of me as the horror film festival, but I don't put horror in the title. So it's not the Horrible Imaginings Horror Film Festival. Right. It's just the Horrible Imaginings Film Festival.
And I like that.
And I try not to limit myself to things traditionally thought of as horror, just imaginings that are horrible.
Some of the comedy was some of the best horror
comedy
we saw last year.
I know. There was some phenomenal comedic shorts last year that I try to tell people about them, and they're like, "No, I wouldn't want to watch that."
I had to show Invaders to my brother while he was sitting in the hospital room.
Did Kurt like it?
He liked it.
Of course he would. Yeah. I'm glad he did. But that's right up his alley. My mother, on the other hand,
we
hated
were watching it on my phone, but that was one of the funniest. It was so over the top. It was Monty Python-esque.
Yeah, it is actually quite Monty Python-esque. Jason Kupfer, who made that film, is a super nice guy. I wish he had been able to make it to the film festival, but I did run into him a couple of months afterwards in Los Angeles. He's from Florida, but he was in Los Angeles because Invaders was playing Beyond Fest, which is a big festival in Hollywood, and they're doing pretty well with that. Invaders you could see on the streaming service Shudder now.
Oh, wow.
Because they're starting to offer some short film things, and it's going to Cannes and some other things. So
good heavens, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, a lot of the films that we saw were really, really good. And we've seen a lot of films since then that have come our way that have been, like Alina that you showed us. I mean, that really was, it was an unusual film, but I liked it.
It was very Swedish, and I don't say that in a mean sort of way, because they have their own, and this is what I was asking a little bit earlier. Yeah, I mean, they have their own cultural sensibility on how to tell a story, and I thought it was just one. It's a gorgeous film. I've got a review written that'll be coming out later at some point. I don't want to reveal everything now, but I will say that it was a wonderfully made movie, and it was nice to have my eyes opened yet again to a new level of cinema.
Right. And
Elena is one of those that is a genre mixer. So I'm curious to see how the audiences take it, but I think it's beautiful, and the acting in it really sells it.
Yeah.
Which film block will that appear in?
It'll be in your film block, the one you're sponsoring.
Okay.
Yeah, and we should mention that since we're talking to you.
Yes.
Duh. That was on my list to talk about, and I completely forgot.
So actually, I have you to thank for that film.
Oh, well, thank you.
Oh, cool.
We're happy to help.
Yeah, so we, as the Two Gay Geeks, or TG Geeks webcast, are sponsoring the LGBT block of Horrible Imaginings Film Festival this time in San Diego. And when is that going to...
That will be Saturday afternoon.
Saturday afternoon.
Prime time.
Cool.
Prime time.
So, go ahead.
How many films did you program for
we
that?
got Elena, which is a feature.
Uh-huh.
So that eliminates some time, but we do have 2 shorts with it. One from Mexico and one from France.
Oh, cool.
The Mexican one is very Lovecraftian and beautiful. It's called
Nice.
Search.
Nice.
And it's a little more serious, kind of like Elena. And then the one from France. Oh, goodness gracious. How do I go about this one? It's called The Black Bear. And it's kind of like a filmed PSA about camping.
I see.
I can only imagine.
I need to just show you. So when I was watching this movie, I've got my headphones on the computer as I'm going through short films, and I'm just like, tears are rolling down my eyes because I think it's so hilarious.
Okay.
I don't want to say anything.
Okay.
No, don't
say anything.
No, but this could
I can't give away the actual.
No, please do not, because we want to go unsurprised. But we would say to anybody listening, who happens to be in the area, this is another good reason why you need to go to this festival, because of gems like that.
There are so many wonderful, like the Pulsion Sagrada last year, the Sanguine Craving.
God, I loved it.
I finally got in touch with the guy on Facebook, and he sent us a copy, or at least on Vimeo, that we can view. It was such a brilliant film. That is just brilliant.
It is genius.
That's one of my favorite short films, and I'm happy to say, this is another time to plug something a little bit, but there's a Halloween haunt convention that goes on in Los Angeles in August. It's called Scare LA.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the most part, it's about people who build haunts, and it has vendors, and it has all kinds of Halloween based things. But they also have a film showcase, and they offered Horrible Imaginings a showcase there.
Oh, cool.
So
Very
I'm really
nice.
excited about that.
Yeah.
And they picked some of the films from the 2015 film festival, and one of them was that one, Sanguine Craving.
Oh, cool. It is such a good film. It is so funny. It's just hilarious.
Yes. Among
other
other
things, yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of films, not just in the LGBT block, but just in a variety of different blocks. There were some that were just outrageously hilarious. So my question is now, how many blocks did you have last year, and do you have the same number this year, or are you just expanding the number of movies?
I'm expanding the number of features for the most part. So the short film blocks are about the same. And I've got some similar ones, just because when you're looking at thematic similarities within the submissions I get, it starts to kind of blend a little bit. So for example, I do have the comedy block again. I do have a science fiction and creature feature block.
Oh, lovely. Yay. Far out.
I do have the human versus supernatural thing again. And oh, goodness gracious, what else do I have? I also have, I think that might be it for the of course, the animated block. How could I forget? But I also have linked some shorts to some of the features I'm showing. For example, showing Zurch and Black Bear with Elena. I also have some of the features will have short films that go with them quite nicely. One thing I did also want to mention in thematically speaking, going back to Sanguine Craving, and also going back to, how we can use this genre to express fears. I don't think this spoils it really. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to say it anyway. But when you think about fears that you can express with film and with this genre, a lot of people's impressions are about the what do I want to say? The literal, like I mentioned before, the woman screaming through the woods with the killer, that's a pretty literal fear. I'm afraid this guy's going to stab me. But Sanguine Craving brilliantly uses it as a metaphor for coming out.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
It's the fear of coming out to your dad.
Yeah.
And what an awesome way to do it,
Oh, yeah. It was just, yeah. There's so many different types of fear. I mean, there's fear of love, fear of being embarrassed. There's the fear of comedy,
fear of being alone.
Yeah, lots of different fears.
It covers so many different grounds that
that can be horrible.
Yeah, I mean that's why horror can be such a universal medium.
Yeah.
In order to be able to address all of these points.
In the best of what I look for and what I try to do with the film festival as a whole, that's precisely it. It is finding that unifying quality.
So you said you had 67 films this time.
Yeah.
So that indicates that there are other things that are going on with the film festival?
There are. So we're integrating literature in. So we'll have readings. We have panels. We do have the horror and literature panel. We have author Brian Evanson coming down, Laura Lee Barr, John Skip, some local San Diego authors like David Agranoff and Brian Killian and Anthony Trevino and just a whole score of authors that will be joining us. So that's part of it. And then we have performance art. So on Saturday we'll have a performance by Anna Januszkiewicz, who is a performance artist who does aerial and hoops and ballet and things like that, but she does it in a very dark and macabre way, and I'm excited about that. So we do try to mix it up and show different things in different art forms that would be of interest to fans of the genre.
Any special classic films that you're bringing this year?
One thing that we did not have time for was a repertory, and part of the reason for that, it wasn't just time, it was also money.
Right. Well, of course, we understand that.
Yeah. I brought in a couple of films that were pretty expensive, and so that kind of ate into my screening rights budget. So we'll see how that goes. This is the first time I've done that, but we'll see how it goes. I'm kind of bummed about that, but the way that I've been kind of making myself feel a little better is I do repertory screenings every month all year round.
Exactly.
So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So, and you have increased this from 3 days to 5 days this year.
Yeah.
So you're starting on Wednesday evening, and it's just Wednesday evening and Thursday evening, and then Friday evening and all day Saturday and all day Sunday.
You just nailed it.
Wow.
What was the reasoning for expanding it this way? Was just so that you could increase the programming?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I wanted to highlight more filmmakers, have more films, have more features. The feature pool has always been kind of small, and I wanted to expand that. So, and we did. We have 11 features, I think, 10 or 11 features, which is more than we've ever had before.
Wow, cool. That is really incredible. So tell us where we can...
Yes, if people want to know more about the film festival itself, how can they do that? I assume there is a presence on the intertubes somewhere.
Yeah, all kinds of places. So you can, well, there's the official website, which is hifilmfest.com. There's the Facebook page, Horrible Imaginings on Facebook. Twitter, my Twitter handle is HIFFSD, which is Horrible Imaginings Film Festival San Diego, the acronym. Instagram is horrible_imaginings. Facebook and Twitter are two big things. Twitter I'm usually more active on than I have been the last couple of weeks, and that's simply because of time and all the consuming nature of what I'm doing. But certainly throughout the year, I'm on Twitter quite a lot. And on Facebook, but I prefer Twitter. Email me at miguel@hifilmfest.com too. Again, I will get back to you as soon as possible. I did talk recently for Ignite San Diego. Ignite is this, it's kind of like TED Talks, but
Oh, cool.
for local artists and things, or artists and and creatives and well, basically different people around the community rather than, you know, hoity-toity experts in their field. And and so we had Ignite San Diego, and I did my 5-minute talk there, and that can be seen on YouTube on the Ignite San Diego YouTube page.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, my whole topic was on doing the festival. So that's another, if anyone wants to know about why I do this and my own personal history with this stuff, then in 5 minutes I go through it there.
Wow. You also do a podcast, and that can be found at hifilmfest.com as well, correct?
That's correct. It's the official podcast of Horrible Imaginings Film Festival. And yeah, you can find that on the website. The homepage has the last 7 or 8 episodes, and you can click to see my whole archive as well. My latest episode just came out yesterday, actually, which is an interview with Emily Rua from Scare LA, and we talk about Scare LA and that convention, and it's pretty fun.
Cool. And there are still full passes available as well as single-day passes. So
that's right.
Get those on the website, as well as you have canvas. I didn't see T-shirt. Was there a T-shirt this year?
There is.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, VIPs get the T-shirt, and it's brand spanking new. It's got awesome full-color art by Patricio Carbajal, Argentine artist. He's fantastic, and I'm really excited to share that with people. The shirts are actually I noticed they're in the mail on the way to my house now, which I'm excited about. Coolness. Got the bags, I got the lanyards, so I'm ahead of schedule this year. I'm excited.
Yay!
Well, we're excited too.
We are very excited. And I think we're going to come down for all days.
Yeah, it's beginning to look that way.
And we're going to do a little sightseeing and in San Diego beforehand.
Well, you know, that's a thing that's nice, right? For anyone who might come down, is not only do we have the film festival going on, but it's in one of the greatest tourist epicenters of the world.
Oh my Lord!
Gorgeous San Diego. It's in Balboa Park.
In Balboa Park, exactly.
One of the most gorgeous places in the most gorgeous places in the world. So there are other things to do.
Yeah. So one last question.
Mm-hmm.
You had 67 films, but just ballpark, how many submissions do you think you had?
Close to about 1,000.
Wow. So you narrowed it down to 67. That's incredible.
It's horrible.
It is horrible. It's horrible. Imaginable.
That's a funny. It hurts to say no.
I know. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Miguel Rodriguez from Horrible Imaginings Film Festival, for being with us this week.
Thanks for having me again, and double thanks for joining us as family and sponsors.
Hi, I'm Patricia Chica, director-producer of Morning After.
And I'm Christian Hotko, writer and actor of Morning After. And you're listening to the Two Gay Geeks podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that is our birthday music, if I can figure out how to run the iPad. And here are a few selected birthdays for July 25th through July 31st, 2016. July 25th, Estelle Getty, the youngest of the bunch, who played the oldest on The Golden Girls.
Go figure.
Yeah. Also, Matt LeBlanc. July 26th, Kevin Spacey. Vivian Vance. You know who that was?
Vivian, that's Ethel from I Love Lucy.
Yep. And Helen Mirren, Stanley Kubrick, Jeremy Piven, Blake Edwards, Nana Visitor. Blake Edwards and Nana Visitor. Blake Edwards was not a Nana Visitor.
No, he was not a Nana Visitor.
There we go.
Going on.
July 27th, Norman Lear and Keenan Wynn. July 28th, Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy Onassis. July 29th, Geddy Lee, Will Wheaton, and David Warner. July 30th, Arnold.
The Arnold.
The Arnold. Simon Baker, Lawrence Fishburne, Alton Brown, Peter Bogdanovich, and Henry Ford was born in 1863. July 31st, Dean Cain, Richard Griffiths, Ted Cassidy, Mario Bava of Italian horror film fame, and J.K. Rowling.
Rowling.
Rowling,
And,
sorry.
And even though this is not a birthday, this announcement just came out this past week, and I think it deserves a little bit of celebration. That is David Giulianti and Bitsy Bullock of Grimm.
Mm-hmm.
That was the happy off and on again couple of Nick and Juliet are getting married in real life.
Oh, how about that? Well, congratulations. And that's it for the birthdays this time.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Warning!
What? What? Okay, switch gears. We're going to give a shout out to Dumbbells and Dragons, our friend Kenny Rotter over there. We haven't received a bumper from him,
Kenny.
Although I just emailed him this morning and reminding him. Also to our friend Joe Hogan over at Geektitude. We haven't received one, and I sent him an email too. So
thank you.
If you guys will give us a bumper, we'll put them in the rotation for our podcast of the week. And you can go give a listen to our friends Kenny and Matt at Dumbbells and Dragons for Kenny and Geektitude for Matt. We'll have both of those podcasts on our web
for
too.
Matt or for Joe?
Joe. What did I say? Joe?
You said Matt.
I said Matt.
But Joe's husband is named
Joe's
Matt.
husband, yes. Anyway, there we are. And now...
We got some fun feedback here.
Yeah.
So jumping right into it regarding our last episode, TG Geeks episode 86, and that was the episode where we interviewed Sid Zanforlin, of the director of the short film Never Tear Us Apart. Anyway, we got a nice little message from fellow independent director Russ Emanuel. He just simply said, "Great episode," and I think we would agree.
Yeah, it was a great little interview.
It was. And then last week, we released a review for a short film that was written and directed by good friend Patricia Chica. It was called Crimson Dance, and you can see that review on our website at tggeeks.com. And Patricia responded to us several times, so I kind of compiled it into one. And this is what it comes up to. OMG, Ben, you wrote the most profound review ever written for my film. Crimson Dance is a blood-soaked dance of life. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and we're going to have a special episode, a special interview episode with Patricia that we're going to release on Wednesday.
Yes, and why
is
that?
Prior to the second screening
The
of
encore
Crimson
screening.
Dance, the encore screening of Crimson Dance at Fantasia International Film Festival in Montreal.
That's right. And we also ran an article. A bunch of stuff came out of Comicon. Tons of stuff. And we'll talk a little bit about that later, but we'll hit on this. We ran an article with the new Wonder Woman trailer.
Wonder Woman.
And we got a message from Missy Gunnels-Catano, and she writes, "This looks so awesome. Cannot wait for it." And then got another message from Eric Alexander. He is also attached to Occupants the Movie. And he wrote, "Hey, what's the word on World War I? Suit's afraid we're too dumb to realize she's not Captain America?" I mean, look at I like the look. Just curious why she's in the wrong era. And to be honest, you're not alone. I do find it curious that they decided to set her origin story along with Steve Trevor in World War I and not World War II. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Maybe there'll be an explanation later on as we get closer to the film. Now, you just saw the trailer earlier today. Just a quick little thought. What was your initial impression?
I thought it looked really interesting. I was fascinated. It gives a little kind of an origin story.
Yeah.
And so I think we need that for Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
For those that don't know about Wonder Woman.
Right. And for those who don't know about Wonder Woman, what's wrong with you? My only concern is that it looks dark. I'm talking the print.
Yeah. It looks.
It looked really dark. Not dark in tone,
I had
but
to sit up.
Yeah, you had to. It's like, I think I'm going to need a flashlight just to be able to shine on the screen to be able to see it. It just looks really, really dark in terms of the color palette. But aside from that, I liked it.
It was good.
Yeah, and then we also ran an article, or it's just a little teaser trailer that came out of Comicon, and it's for the new Star Trek series Discovery. And you can read the little article, and you can see that little teaser trailer for yourself on our website. And we got some comments, and we got a comment from not just Crazy Joe, but from Megapodzilla.
Megapodzilla.
Megapodzilla had to actually comment. And they wrote, "It looks so good, can't wait." And then we got a message from Brian Arkleweber, and he said, "I have so many questions. Too many, really, but to start with, that registry number. I thought the show was supposed to take place between the original series and Next Generation. So is this going to be pre-Kirk crew falls into time warp and ends up in a post-Kirk era or something? Also, as some YouTube commenters pointed out, part of the ship's design seems more Klingon than Starfleet."
Yeah, it looked like a Klingon bird of prey to me.
Was that what your thought was?
Yeah.
I will just simply add to this that was an unused design, I think, for Next Generation. This is not the first time that the series creators have actually gone back and borrowed unused designs. We saw it happen with the USS Pasteur in at the series finale for Next Gen. That was an unused design for the original Enterprise, and I think they're doing that same thing here. So we'll have to wait and see. And then we also, lastly, ran a trailer for the third season for CW's The Flash.
The Flash.
And we got a comment again from Arkle. And he says, "Pretty sure they're only calling it Flashpoint because the FCC wouldn't let them call it. Damn it, Barry!" My response to that was, "Well played, sir." And then Scott Linder, friend of the show, went, "Holy blank!" Now, he didn't write blank.
Star T.
Yes, yeah, SH star T. You figured out.
Star T.
Yeah.
Isn't it like key $, huh?
Yeah, key $signs. Yeah. $T. Or star sign T. Whatever.
Yes, it is my job to
derail me.
Derail you, yes.
Yeah, and you succeeded.
And
again.
we did it on Scott's.
Did it on Scott's post. Imagine that.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. Anyway, he continues on. "I have to say, where DC just can't seem to get a foothold in movies, they've really hit it out of the park with at least The Flash. The stories are great, the acting is great, and what they're doing with all of the characters is just awesome. It's literally something different every season. I cannot wait to see what they do with Flashpoint. And I will add, we're going to have a bunch of stories coming out later this week. These all came out of Comic-Con, and it's all about a lot of the CW shows. But I will say this, Flashpoint is going to have an effect on everything that we see in Legends of Tomorrow. It's going to affect Supergirl. It's going to affect Arrow.
And we really need to get Brian Augustine on the show and talk to him about Flashpoint.
I would like to get him on the show, too, because he has, I mean, what he did when he created that, just literally, it revolutionized the entire DC storyline.
Yeah.
Completely revolutionized it. So, yes, I would love to get him on the show and be able to talk to him about that. But anyway, we'll talk a little bit more about some of the Comic-Con stuff later on. And that's it for the feedback.
Yep. So if you want to listen to our show, yes. If you want to listen to our show, you can comment on.
If you want to listen to.
If you want to comment on our show,
that's putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah. If you want to comment on our show, you need to listen to our show first.
Imagine that.
And then you can comment on our YouTube episodes. You can comment on our Facebook as TG Squared Studios on Facebook. You can comment at tggeeks.com, or you can call us and leave us a voicemail, and we'll play your voicemail on air at 469-TG-Geeks. That is 469-844-3357. Please play nice.
Hi, this is Ginny Koch, author of the Alien Catherine Kitty Cat series from Daw Books, part of Penguin Random House, and you are listening to the Two Gay Geeks webcast.
Now, this last Comic-Con, holy moly, this was geek heaven. And I was telling some friends that we were visiting last night, I said this to Keith, if there's ever a time where we don't, I mean, we haven't been to San Diego Comic-Con yet. We're talking about going next year. But if for some reason we don't get to go to Comic-Con, I'm still going to take all those days off from work just so I can stay glued to my computer, because the news that came out, especially the last 2 days, has been, or at least the last 2 days from when we're recording this episode, has been hot.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievably
lots
hot.
and lots and lots of stuff.
There is some amazing things, and we'll be leaking some of these, but just to kind of give you a hint, we have the trailer for King Kong.
Ooh.
That we're going to be releasing
And
pretty
that's
soon.
the, what, third, fourth?
This will be,
fifth time?
well, okay, you have the original that was 1931.
Right.
Then there was the remake that was in the late 70s. 78 or so, 70, yeah, around that time. And then there was the one that was by Peter Jackson. So this will be number 4.
Number 4.
And these are by the same people that did the American Godzilla. Because the plan is that the next Godzilla film will be King Kong versus Godzilla.
Aha.
So that's what this is all.
I see.
This is universe building we're getting here.
Aha. Okay.
So we've got that. We've got a lot of stuff regarding the CW and that entire DC universe. We got not just trailers, but we have panels and stories that we're going to be sharing, because what they're doing here is nothing short of brilliance. If they pull this off, I mean, it could completely collapse, but we'll just wait and see. So we got a lot to report on that. We have a trailer for the new FX series Legion, which is the co-production between Marvel and 20th Century Fox, which is an X-Men series.
Wow.
We got that. That looks really exciting. So there is just so much that we have to share with all. Oh, and we also managed to get the season 4 teaser for the upcoming Sherlock series.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and then you posted a bunch of stuff yesterday and today.
Yeah.
Or today, as of this recording, which would be yesterday of this release.
Yeah, got
Sunday. So check the website.
Check the website. That
a number of the Doctor Strange
trailer.
trailer.
Yeah, the new Doctor Strange trailer. We've got the season 3 trailer for Flash that we talked a little bit earlier. We have the Wonder Woman trailer we talked a little bit about earlier. Go to our website, because
keep checking throughout the week.
Keep checking throughout the week, because we're not going to post all of these in one big shot, because I have a life and I work full time.
And you have a job too.
And I have a job that I need to keep. So, but we'll be releasing these throughout the week. But this way, you won't have to necessarily go hunting. Just come to our website, and we'll be releasing these things as the week goes on. Yeah. So there's that. Now, lastly, one story that came out at Comicon that has got a lot of people just completely in a fervor. For anybody who's a big, huge Disney fan, over at Disney's California Adventure Park, there is a very popular ride called the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. The Tower of Terror. And it was taken from the Orlando park. They had their own version. When the Anaheim park wasn't doing so well, they thought, okay, well, how can we fix things up a little bit? Let's bring in a new ride. So
they
brought
did
that
a movie about it.
And they even did a movie about it. It wasn't all that great. It was a made-for-Disney Channel film starring Steve Guttenberg.
Too bad,
but it's not a bad flick.
It was a fun romp, yeah.
It's not a bad movie. And it's very faithful to the little Twilight Zone segment that we get in the ride.
Yeah.
So now what do we find out? Well, for whatever reasons you want to come up with, Disney has decided that they're going to completely scrap that, and they're going to retheme it to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Why?
Well, one of the popular theories that's being batted about, and this has been coming from some good, reliable sources. Yeah, it's money. It's a lot of it is about money. They don't want to continue paying the annual licensing for this, for the name The Twilight Zone.
Really?
So instead, they're going to go for something that they own. Now, you earlier brought up a really good point to this.
So they're tired of paying the licensing for Twilight Zone. Yet in the little teaser that we have on the website, Joe Rohde, who is an Imagineer, and he said that they're going to retheme the ride. He was talking about the ride, and they're going to play all of the music from the film. Hello, you have to license that too
Now, that's a good question, and I'm going to throw this out to anybody who listens to us. Maybe you know how licensing rights work for music. Jeff Patton might be a good one to talk to about this as well, of BTI, because he's had some dealings with the music industry. But I'm really curious, being that they paid for the licensing to do for all those tunes in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, do they still retain the right to play those play that music for the ride? Was it just a one-time purchase?
I would think not.
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to know. Maybe the royalties and licensing works different from music as opposed to television.
Yeah. If anyone knows, please
let us know. Please inform us.
469-844-3357.
That's right. But the other big issue that I've got was and Rhodey, the Imagineer, he points this out quite clearly, and that is, this is the beginning of what's going to be a whole new Marvel experience. Holy cow, that terrifies me.
I'm just exasperated with the Disney company right now.
I'm very disturbed by this.
Number one, and I'm not going to get on this soapbox too high. I'm not going to fall off and break my neck. But the taking over 3/4 of Disneyland for the Star Wars expansion, and now this Marvel thing on Tower of Terror. Hello, let's just open a new park.
Yeah.
Make it the Star Wars Marvel Park instead of destroying Disneyland. And,
yeah.
All the crap that they're doing. Thank you very much. I will be quiet now.
No, I know your opinions are worthwhile. But the thing that bugs me in all of this is that when you first go into DCA, and it's supposed to represent 1920s Los Angeles, because that's when Walt arrived there to set up shop to start the Disney company. And when you just go a little bit in, and then you kind of make a left once you get past that little opening street area, and now you're in this what's supposed to be a little sort of like a downtown Hollywood street kind of thing, where the Art of Animation exhibit is. At the very end, you've got the Hyperion Theater, and then when you kind of go past the Hyperion, that's where you see the facade of the Tower of Terror, which is supposed to be designed of the Hollywood Tower Hotel, and it kind of fits the theming.
Yeah.
It won't anymore.
It won't anymore, and we're going to have Guardians of the Galaxy with the red car trolley running in front of it.
Now, I would say we have the article for this story. It is on our website. Check it out. You can see the conceptual artwork for what the building is going to look like now, and there's also a really good interview with Rhodey the Imagineer as he talks about the ride itself. Did he seem convincing to you?
He seemed like he was trying to convince himself.
Maybe. That's an interesting point. But you can see the design for yourself. I'm not all that excited about it. I think it's a bad idea. A lot of Disney fans are upset with that idea. But I want to know what you guys think. I mean, just because we think one way does not invalidate what you think.
Nope.
So please let us know. What is your opinion on this? Would you like to see Disney keep that? How about the idea of opening another park, as Keith suggested?
They should have. I think they should have. That's enough.
Okay, after that mic drop.
That's enough. Oh, yeah, we have lots of follow-up items. As always, remember we have a calendar for birthdays, film festivals, cons. If you know something that needs to be on our calendar, let us know. Also, by now, you've figured out that we have become huge supporters of independent creators, not just film, but any kind of creative outlet, whether it's artwork, comics, music, film, whatever it is. If it's of an independent nature, we want to support it. And we know we're always pushing something, some new thing is down the pike. But, it's what we've become passionate about, and we want to boost the signal for those that we can. And, if we like it, we'll certainly talk about it and do an interview, do all kinds of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So, and it is important for everybody to support independent creators. We saw Stranger Things. They looked like they had been independent filmmakers, and then all of a sudden they have their big break, and it was great.
Exactly.
So support those independent filmmakers, even if it's as little as $5. Everything helps. And speaking of that, we want to tell you about Horrible Imaginings Film Festival, as we interviewed Miguel earlier. This film festival is in San Diego. It's going to be September 7th through the 12th at the Museum of Photographic Arts in lovely Balboa Park. It's a film festival not to be missed, and we are sponsoring the LGBT block of films on Saturday afternoon. Wednesday through Friday is evening only, and Saturday and Sunday are all day. Tickets are available at hifilmfest.com. Phoenix Comicon has announced FanFest 16, October 22nd, 23rd, downtown Phoenix at the Convention Center. More information on the website. They still haven't
announced anything really in terms of guests
or anything yet.
Nothing like that.
So keep tuning in. Stay tuned for more. And for you people that are year-round Halloween fans, Keen Halloween, Phoenix, September 23rd and 24th at the Convention Center. You can find out more at keenhalloween.com.
Must give special mention to the Doctor Who Fancast Guide. That is published like every day or every other day, and they are forever repurposing or republishing our stories, and we love them for that. And you can find it by looking for Doctor Who Talking Who on Twitter. Their handle is @TalkingWho. And we've talked about it a little bit earlier in the feedback. That's Brian Weber. He is known as Arkle, and he puts out the Arkle Times Post Dispatch News. And you can find the Dispatch News by looking for him on Twitter. He is Social Justice Scald. His handler is @Arkle, ARKLE. And he's also on Tumblr. He has the incorrect Star Trek Voyager quotes. He's very proud of it. It makes people laugh. Just don't let your boss see it while you're at work.
Yeah, and Talking Who and Arkle both use the Paperly thing, and we're doing that too. We really don't have any input on it other than selecting the type of articles that are selected, and it's an algorithm that selects them. Let us know. Check out Two Gay Geeks on Twitter and our Paperly Two Gay Geeks Daily, I think it is. Let us know what you think and if we should spend $9 a month to actually have some control over the content.
Right.
We want to give a shout out, as always, to The Lookie Show. The twins, Sasha and Dagmar, are really great. They give us lots of love on Twitter, and you can catch their Twitter feed at Lookie Show and catch their YouTube feed as The Lookie Show if you like old movies and really good commentary about classic movies and reviews. Check it out.
And must give a special shout out to my favorite Facebook group out there. It is The Gay Geek. And I think just by that name alone, you can tell why that's my particular favorite. They've got really awesome people there that post really awesome content. Some very imaginative and brilliant stuff comes out of there, and everybody there is a gem. Just the nicest people you could possibly want to imagine. And their head moderator is named Jeremiah Reeves, and he has given us his blessings to allow us to share our episodes there. So we have to give them a shout out. And you can find that group. You don't have to be gay. Just be nice and be, geeks will love it. Just go to facebook.com/group/The Gay Geek and see for yourself.
Thank you, Jeremiah. And we want to say a big, huge thank you to the person that nominated us for a Parsec Award. Still don't know whether we're in the finals yet or not.
We should be finding out really soon. We should be
finding out really soon, yeah. So check out theparsecawards.com. Once again, thank you very much. And we want to remind you to occasionally click on our Amazon ads. Please, please, please. It doesn't cost anything. You don't have to buy anything. It just tells Amazon that we're driving traffic to them. However, if you do want to buy something from Amazon, please use one of our search ads. We get a little kickback. And we just want to say thank you for your consideration. And lastly, please, please, please rate us on iTunes.
Whether you listen to us via iTunes or not, rate us there, because if anybody's, they're wanting to look for new podcasts to listen to, and, they put in, like geek or something like that in the search engine, by rating us, that kind of raises our ratings a little bit, and our show kind of floats to the top whenever there's a search done.
That'd be nice. Thank you. Next time, we might have a little follow-up to Horrible Imaginings. We have a couple of interviews in the can already for some directors of films
Yes.
at Horrible Imagining. So we might have one of those. You never know. We might have something else going on. Stay tuned. Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We'll have several links on the page. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com, or you can leave a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. From TG Squared Studios, I'm Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. I bid you peace.
Cheers from Naughton Hall H.